Good evening, students. Welcome back. This is the ossification the fourth video on ossification, and this deals with what is the growing end of a long bone. Okay, you will soon understand what does it mean, the growing end, what is the growing end of a long bone. Just see again here. This is a cartilaginous model which is partly has has been replaced by the bones. This bone which has formed in this cartilaginous model of a long bone is the diaphysis. So this is from the primary center the diaphysis has developed. Then takes place the birth, and after birth one of the end shows the formation of bone at its end, and that bone formation at one of its end is called a secondary center. After some time the other end will also show the formation of bone at its other end, and this is secondary center. Now the secondary center usually appear first at one of the end, which is fixed for in every bone this is fixed, that which whether the upper end or whether the lower end will show the formation of bone or the appearance of the secondary center, and the age of appearance of the secondary center for upper end or the lower end is also fixed for individual bone. For example, this is a long bone. Say, for example, again, if we take the example of the humerus, the secondary center of the humerus, for example, if it appears at the age of the second year, when the child is in the second year of age, then this end, which is cartilaginous, that is the epiphyseal cartilage is here at the end, will show a appearance of secondary center, and this has appeared at the second year of age. Then after some time, say for example, now the lower end will also show the appearance of secondary center, and it has appeared at the somewhere in the third year of age. Sorry, it has appeared in the third year of age. Now both the ends, they are forming the spongy bone, that is the epiphyseal bone is being formed here, and this bone at the ends is called as epiphysis, while the bone at center, as you know, is called as the diaphysis. Now one of the end which shows the appearance of the secondary center earlier or first, and as a rule will unite with the diaphysis with for the completion of the ossification on that end, last. So what is the rule of the growing end? The rule of the growing end is the secondary center which appear first. Say for example, in this long bone it has appeared at the second year of age after birth, which has appeared first, it will unite last with that of the diaphysis. That means the other end which will show the appearance of secondary center after some time, this is going to unite with the diaphysis earlier than this center. For example, here the other end has shown the appearance of the secondary center at the third year of age, and this has united here with the diaphysis at the 17 years of age. So this is at the so this epiphyseal line has appeared at the age of 17 years. That means there will be no further growth at the lower end after 17 years, because the secondary center has, or epiphyseal center has united with that of the diaphysis. So this has united first, though it appeared last, in the third year, but it has united at the age of 17 years. Now see the upper end, which has appeared at the second year of age, will keep on growing because this epiphyseal plate is still existing, and on its epiphyseal side it is growing, and on this diaphyseal side it is being converted or being replaced by the bone at the metaphysis. So this end, the upper end, is still growing, and then after some time, say for example, this will close or fuse with the diaphysis will fuse with the epiphysis, and line of epiphyseal line will appear at the 19 years. So the center which secondary center which appear first unite last, and the secondary center which appear last or after the first one will unite early. It will unite. This is the rule of the growing end. So the end of the developing bone is called this end. Thus in this example, the upper end is called as the growing end of the bone. It is not necessary that the growing end is always at upper end as shown in this diagram. Okay, it may be also at the lower end of a long bone. Now why it is necessary to know the growing end of each and every long bone? Now this has very many significance. Okay, for example, the growing end will show the growth for longer period of time as compared to the other end which has fused already. The other end, the upper end here in case is showing the lot of the I would say for longer period of time it is showing the growth. Okay, it is showing the, and this fact is utilized by the surgeons when they are doing the amputation. They should know that which end of the long bone is the growing end. Okay, so they will leave the space in the soft tissue for the growth of the bone. Say for example, if here is the upper end is the growing end, and if amputation in this limb, say for it is arm, is done, then the surgeon knows that the upper end is a growing end and the growth will take place for longer period of time, say for till the 19 or 20 years of age. Thus he will leave a space. Okay, he will leave a space in soft tissue for the growth of the stump of the bone for longer period. Okay, otherwise it will penetrate and will come out of the soft tissue. Okay, so this is one of the utility of knowing the growing end. Then another fact is that the nutrient foramina of the sap, there are nutrient, you must have learned in general anatomy, there is the presence of the nutrient foramina through which the artery penetrates the shaft of the long bone is always directed opposite to the growing end. Say for example, in this case the growing end was the upper end and here the nutrient foramina is directing towards the lower end. Thus by just seeing the direction of the nutrient foramina, you can say which end of this long bone was the growing end. Okay. Now another fact is that the growing end of the upper limb are away from the elbow. That means the away from the elbow means for humerus it is the upper end of the growing end, and for radius and ulna it is the lower end is the growing end. It is just reverse for knee. Okay, for the long bones which are articulating at knee, that is the lower end of the femur is the growing end. Similarly, the upper end of the tibia and fibula, they are also the growing end. Okay, the growing end. Now, the time of fusion of this end, that means the fusion between the epiphysis and diaphysis, will help us, okay, to know the age of an individual. By taking the x-ray of the ends of the long bone, one can know whether the epiphysis and diaphysis has fused or not, because for individual long bone the time of fusion is fixed, and then you can determine the age of a person just by looking at the x-ray whether the end have fused. That means the epiphysis has fused with the diaphysis or not. For example, here if it is humerus, the fusion time is 19 years, and if the epiphysis and diaphysis has fused and there is no cartilage in between the two, then you can see that the age of the individual is more than 19 years, and this has a very say important significance in medico-legal cases. Okay, say for in the case of the rape, where you have to determine the age of the girl whether she is major or minor. Okay, there her x-rays of the long bones are taken, and with the help of that the age is determined. So this is the importance of the growing end of the long bone. Thank you very much for watching this video. The next video probably will be the last video on the ossification series. Thank you.